Hey guys, normally I'd be in my office, but it's a rainy Sunday afternoon. So, guys, I've done some TikToks on this one, and I realised it deserved a longer form video. Guys, and these are some terms that I've heard from other creators who are more embedded in healthcare over on the Clock app. So, guys, the first thing is in a cell house, it's not just one person's job. We're having continual problems with stuff not being done. And I've realised that it's not only the day shift that needs to be doing these things, sleepover needs to be up till 10 o'clock. That's a requirement. So it's not hard to do some washing up quietly, to do the folding up, um, check if there's anything in the dryer or the washing machine. It's not hard to do these things with disturbing people as well. And guys, I've realised that support workers need to have the attitude of a helpful Hannah rather than an effort up Frida. Guys, if you're in it for the money, yeah, fair enough, and then you learn to care for those people. You're caring for someone. And I've realised that this is where I'm seeing the difference between someone considering it a job and a source of income, someone considering it a passion and excellence as a lifestyle. I know we all fall short of the standard and stuff like that, but this is something that bugs me, and it is so easy to get a job in support. There's demand for it, but for the love of God, please consider doing your certificate 3 and extra medication modules on top of that. Because, guys, if you've looked after in an informal setting, you've looked after someone informally. If you've cared for one person with a disability, you've cared for one person with a disability. Guys, I am going to keep saying that till the cows come home. And I've actually realised my house, and this is a big may be doing some unapproved restrictive practices through having support workers not being able to use their own car. Look, one of my housemates is medically complex and in a wheelchair, so two-person hoist. So we would need a wheelchair accessible vehicle, but not even like having to have everything go through a housing manager, and there's 3 housing manager for this organisation. But what about if someone just needs to run up to the chemist and a bottle of milk? We've got 2 units that are literally side by side. Um, I can be left up to 4 hours by myself. It doesn't make sense that all of the cars have to be pre-booked and all of the trips have to be pre-booked. So I'm wondering if that's an insurance issue or if literally one support worker was doing the wrong thing and effed it up for everyone else. And so this is where you need to know your company's policies and procedures and work as a team and stop undercutting other support workers because, oh, I'm not getting the hours or I can do that. Guys, that's the quickest way to not get any hours. But if you're doing everything that you should be doing, you're going to get more hours as well. But guys, yeah, did a TikTok in this one and I'm going to explain it more, is that Sunday mornings should not be welcome to the shit show. That should not be the theme song for it, of groceries and just trying to get everything done that the week shifts didn't do. It should be easy breezy like Sunday morning. If your routine is taking people out in the community, that should be the routine. If it's cleaning, changing bedding, changing linen, washing, that should be the routine. So there is routines that are set down and organised for a reason. And if you're thinking, I'll do that tomorrow and upsetting the routine, that can have a massive domino effect. I'm coming from a participant's perspective. I know it's very entitled, but this is where I'm like, care is privilege, not a right. If you're higher functioning, you should be helping support staff, that you should be upskilling yourself to be able to do these things independently. Yes, disability will need more intensive support, but look at what's going on in the background. And I know this is counterintuitive to what a lot of the other TikTokers and YouTubers are saying, but lower support needs people may need less support. Medically complex needs clients obviously are going to need more support. This is where we need to have that conversation about support levels. Um, Disability doesn't have to get worse over time, especially if you've got the supports and the allied health services that you need. They're the big things to have funded as well. The other thing is advocating for community supports. Things that you wouldn't think of are community supports, but actually are decent public transport, decent public transport, outdoor gyms for exercise, walking tracks, bike tracks, um, all things that promote health and well-being and independence. So someone might just need public transport training to be able to get from the still house to the day centre, um, or local library, shopping centre, to do that independently, especially if they've got a mobile phone, low support needs, able to navigate themselves back home. And so it's not a one size fits all approach, but if it's in the care plan, it needs to be done. And that includes community access. And so if you're holding people back from that by saying, oh, I'm not going to approve that trip, you better have an alternative, because that trip might be the only time that person gets out of the house that week. So, guys, what you guys that are able bodies were experiencing during COVID, the lockdowns and only going able to go out into certain places, guys, that for a lot of people with disabilities is their normal lifestyle. That's why we were leading, going, this is what you can do, this is what you can do, this is what you can do. Technology, so many people still doing Zoom meetings, still doing Teams meetings, working from home, guys, as well. So many, like even downtown in my local area, I'm seeing so many empty office spaces, but knowing the business is still operating, they realize they don't need that presence downtown. They've got like websites, they've gone into co working spaces or working from home, or even upgrading premises where they're all on one site as well. That it makes sense for people to work from home as long as you've got like your physical security, your data security up to date, and your data access policies and your work device policies up to date, which is a huge one around disability. Consent, document, note. And that's another thing that has come out in the House. People aren't doing documentation as well. And so this is what people think is a huge, like, it's people and support workers think that's a minor issue. Oh, I'll catch up with it later. It then can become a huge bloody issue, because those notes become evidence when we're coming up to plan reviews. Guys, do your notes. Do your notes. Yes, it might be in your time. But guys, unless you're in a cushy salary corporate job, there is always going to be some level of unpaid overtime. Guys, it's just the way the world works. If you're going to say that's corporate wage theft, fair enough, don't clock out. Someone, they should give you time to do the notes. Yes. Do them as you're engaging. Not hard to do it with the clients instead of out of it as well. Remember, wording matters in disability. Oh, they refuse to do this. Did they really refuse? Refuse means that they flat out no. Did they decline to do it at that stage? Because then it might be noted that they did it at a later stage. Did they have an assignment due if they're studying? Were they engaged in a craft activity? Did they not have the motivation? Was the resource they needed, a washing machine, TV, computer, internet, not available to them at that time? Did they need assistance and motivation to do it? Did they not know how to do it in the first place? Yes, assume competency, but check in, can they do it correctly? Things that are a two-person thing in a normal household. Changing sheets on a double or queen bed. Vacuuming, mopping, cleaning a shower. All take a long time if you're doing that as a one-person job. So much easier if two people do it as well. So, guys, this is where I am for having mandatory training and medication awareness being the other one as well. Because I've now realised why support workers, even if I want a Panadol, have to text the housing manager for approval. Guys, I'd rather suffer through the headache or the flare than to put that on them. As well. But it seems to me that little things. I can understand when white goods needs replacing, having that go through the housing manager. But it seems to be that particularly these three housing managers do not trust their main support workers to make a decision. We've just had to text the housing manager about throwing out a cracked mop bucket that is not watertight. Everyone in the house who's a participant is in agreement that we can throw this mop bucket out. There's a perfectly other acceptable one underneath our laundry sink. So it seems to me that it's about the insurance rather about dignity of risk. Because the risk is, oh, well, the other mop bucket's not suitable and we've got to go and buy a new one. Well, the funding here and the household fund that pays for like our washing up, laundry, detergent has got the money there. I don't see the issue. But educate me in the comments, support workers, housing manager. So stop being so worried about the bloody insurance. Guys, it is hamstringing us from being able to live a life more normal. So, guys, this has just been stuff that has been shitting me about support workers assuming that they've got authority with us when it should be a collaborative therapeutic relationship. First person you should be checking in with is not the housing manager, should be the support worker that's on shift, then the clients. It's the client's home. Please, for the love of God, remember that. It's the client's home.